I'm Rachel Leonard of the Bridal Council. I am so excited to be speaking to my friend, Mark Ingram, who has been the most innovative bridal salon owner all these years and now has his own Mark Ingram collection of his own. How are you, Mark?
I'm great, Rachel. How are you?
Good,
Thanks so much
good.
for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I know you're in Milan coming back, so in a
Yes,
lovely hotel room, man on the go of all times. Um,
always.
so fall 2023, what is the
Yes.
inspiration for the collection for this upcoming season?
I'm glad you asked. I normally always say old movies, old Hollywood, but you know what? That's done now for this season. I was really inspired by seeing the Dior exhibit for the second time in Brooklyn. I saw it for the first time in Paris with my friend Ann Barge. We went three or 4 years ago on a cold December to see it. And then it came to the Brooklyn Museum and I got to see it again. And it was such a more personal, smaller, kind of smaller venue, which allowed you to really be more up and close and personal with the dresses. And I really got to see details that I didn't see before and linger and go back and see things. So that inspired me, not so much in terms of what he designed, in terms of his shapes and his and the feeling of what he did, but more of the couture element, the idea that hands touch this product and it's very much hands-on kind of design process, an old-fashioned process where we do things like trapunto stitching and fine pleating and all kinds of details that I feel are what couture are all about and what bridal's all about. We're going simpler with shapes and basically with the way the dresses look, but the details to me are finer.
Okay, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
So can you go into yet what the silos might look like and the fabrications? How did you translate that?
Sure. Well, I really think I excel mostly in crisp, clean, classic dresses. So for me, I like to use crisp fabrics like Gazar and Mikado and satin, the three blend together, Mikado and satin blended together, Mikado for the stiffness, and then satin trims for the richness that gives a shine element to it. So a lot of my gowns are in these rich, plain fabrics, but they have sheen, they have texture, a little bit of texture, and they feel really rich in a beautiful sort of milky white, silk white color.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm introducing also silk file this season, a very fine silk file from an Italian mill in a pale, pale ivory that I love it. And I'm combining it also with satin, Duchess satin.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I love Mikado.
Me too.
I like it's so tailored. It's so great.
I love it because it stays crisp, and brides like that. The seams are flawless, which is nice. You can do a simple dress with no detail and keep it in Mikado, and your seaming is your detail because usually it's a very crisp seaming.
Exactly. Now, so you don't really, I was going to ask you, do you have a muse this season, or do you have a muse in mind when you do an overall design, when you design at all times?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question.
Oh, do you have a muse when you're designing?
I have the same muse as always. It's always the same three people. My mother, number one, who is chic to death, Audrey Hepburn, and like Doris Day. They're kind of like American classic stylists, and they wore clothes beautifully in a time period that I love, like the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. They were at the game with fashion.
You can't go wrong with that. Do you see wedding dresses now that you've had this fantastic bridal salon all these years? Now that you're designing
20 years this year, Rachel. It's my 20th anniversary this year. 20.
Wow.
I began in January 2002, just after 9/11. January 3rd, I opened.
Unbelievable.
I know, I can't believe it.
Do you look at wedding dresses any differently now that you're on the, you're the designer now than being the buyer?
Not really.
Or you always looked at the inside and
the inside, yeah. I'm always all about quality and style. Nothing has changed. I mean, now that I make them myself, I'm a little more cognizant of fabrications and make, because my gowns I feel are very, very well made and very well tailored. And I think everything in my store to be a certain standard of quality. And therefore, that's an enhanced that sort of that's sharpened that awareness that I have about fabrication and sewing. But other than
Great.
that, I think over the years I've had great designers in the store who've always stood for quality.
Absolutely. And tell everybody where the gowns are produced.
The gowns produced in Puglia, Italy, in a town called Putignano. I work with the Divine Valentini family. It's a 60-year-old family-run business. They began making confirmation and communion dresses in Italy and accessories, and blossomed into a full bridal manufacturing and design house in the 1970s. And they've been full speed ahead since then. I met them about 5 years ago, and I've loved working with them. And we have a great collaboration where they manufacture my gowns, and I go to the factory there very often. That's why I'm always in Italy. Run to the factory, put my hands on the design.
That's so
But they take
great.
direction beautifully, and they have an amazing resources of fabric for me. Like, it's very easy for me to work because their resources are incredible.
I mean, they're a very big, well-known name in Europe, pretty much, aren't they?
They are they're a top design brand in Italy, especially from top to bottom.
From top to bottom.
Yes.
Any new trends on what brides want today?
You know, in my salon, I'm seeing it's weird because the girls are wanting simpler dresses for their primary dress,
Mhm.
definitely sleeves and different necklines. We'll always sell strapless, as strapless is the number one neckline, I think, since it really became popular in the 90s.
Right.
I think the strapless is the most attractive for most women, but now they've seen it so now for 20 years and 25 years, they want maybe, I'm doing more sort of square necklines and tank tops and ballet necklines and off the shoulder halters, you know, different kinds of strapless necklines that are more different looking than just your average dress, because the girls want something different. If the gowns are getting simpler, you've got to give them something dramatic, like a dramatic neckline, I think is how you do it.
That makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
where's your collection available? Uh-oh. Are you there?
Wait, yeah, I'm here.
There you are. Where's your collection available? Are you sold
I'm
all
here.
over where? Can you hear
Well,
me?
we are sold in the United States.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we're sold in the United States at my salon in Manhattan, Mark Ingram Atelier.
Right.
We are sold in Dallas at Warren Barone. We are sold in San Antonio at Julian Gold. We are sold in Chicago at the Unique Bride. We're sold in Miami at Chic, Coral Gables, Miami at Chic Parisian. And then in Paris, in Italy in 5 locations, in Moscow, in 3 doors in Korea, and about 9 doors in Japan.
Amazing.
So it's kind of decent distribution right now. We're looking to grow the US. This market's about the US for us, the growth there, and more in Western Europe as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And I know you working on moving your atelier in the city.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
it's not ready yet, but tell us where's it going to be, and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I grew out of I'm in my second space now. My first space was 5 years. I grew out of that. I moved into a second space in year 6 and grew out of that immediately, but didn't dare to change because so many things were happening. 2008 happened, and now the pandemic. But you know, with the pandemic, we were able to find and negotiate a great lease, thanks to my president, who's amazing, and my real estate broker. We have an amazing space that's about 2.5 sizes the times, 2.5 sizes, 2.5 times the size of my current space, maybe 3 times, at a, you know, an affordable per square foot, which makes much sense, in a great lease, moving to 57th Street, just a few blocks away from where we are now. So I'm very excited.
Fantastic.
Yeah, very glamorous address. Very excited.
Excellent.
Yeah,
What's the address?
whole new. I'm not going to say, Rachel, but
Okay.
it's very close. It's very close to Bergdorf Goodman. We'll just say that.
Oh, we love that.
We
Nothing
love that.
wrong with that.
That's
Excellent.
right. And it's going to be a very different kind of concept. You know, we've had closed stock mostly for the last 20 years, where the gowns are brought out to the client. This salon will look more like a gallery because it's that large. I can display more dresses on the floor. In fact, probably like 65% of the stock will be on the floor. There'll be an opportunity to display more ball gowns, which we've had a hard time showing and displaying in my other space, bigger skirts and bigger dresses. And we're getting into other categories. I just launched a jewelry collection called LGD by Mark Ingram. They're lab grown diamonds. They'll be featured there. We will be working on my evening wear collection, expanding that, and lots of more of accessories than we ever have been before in the past.
Fantastic. That's so
Yeah.
exciting.
It's a lot of growth. Year 20 is about growth for us, big time.
2022, I think, right?
You know,
Oh,
you,
fantastic.
I-
And any advice,
Sure.
one last question, any advice that you have for brides today shopping for a dress?
it's always the same advice that I offer. You know, don't get caught up in the trap of never feeling satisfied. You have to at some point pull the trigger on something. And the more you look and the more you compare to other people, you're never going to be satisfied with what you have. And too many girls now buy a dress and then they have like a buyer's remorse, you know, weeks later because they continue to shop. I think you need to sort of pull the trigger and believe that your choice is the best choice. Rely on your consultant who wants to sell you the best dress possible because they want to look good too. I want to look good. I don't want you to look bad. I want you to look good. You looking good is a reflection on me. And that's what, you know, so trust the experts. Don't involve too many people in the process. Keep it narrow to those you respect the most. And I think it's also good to buy a dress at a location that you respect, that you like, you hear good things about, but also you want to go back to 2 or 3 more times to visit for your fittings and for your accessories. Keep that in mind.
Okay, that's great advice. And it's a pleasure to speak to you as always.
Thank you,
And thank you
Rachel.
for meeting with me today.
My great
And,
pleasure. Sorry, the connection was so iffy, but you know, it's 11 o'clock here in Milan PM, and who knows, you know, what the connection is like. It's going to appear like to you.
Bye, everybody. I'm going to pause recording right now.